cinematographer should know. So cinematography is really broad, right? But if you know some basic things, the rest is just vibes and understanding. So let us talk about those basic things and then hopefully you can finesse it and then just be bad. If you go to any school, they're probably to talk about the same basic things. The other skills and stuff that you by yourself individually just grow yourself and know. So basically let's just talk about one shot. I feel like you know shots are the same thing. Yeah. Okay. So what shot do you know about?
Let me just crop it.
What shot do you know?
I know
Close door.
Station.
over the shoulder.
Over the shoulder is what? Okay, but you know what? How do you come? Okay, so I feel like let's just is there a camera? Let's just be talking about the shot that you know. And then let's just show ourselves so that we can all know the shot that we all mentioned and know. Is there a camera that we can use?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Show it down.
We can use camera, right?
Yes.
Let's see.
Let's use
This one. This one.
Yes.
What's this one? What camera is this? Yes. Just do that one. No. Like, it's not bad, yeah, but
easy.
Can you put this on the screen? Can you put the camera on the screen? Oh, this is what we're using to transmit. So, okay, use the red. Use the red. Yes.
guys, I want to set up the red. Okay, use the red. There's a red.
Direct HDMI.
Right this one.
Direct HDMI.
So, bro, I want us to start with that way.
This camera. That's what we're using to stream.
If I give you camera now, no reason.
The internet is
don't take about this. I give you the camera now. I tell you to show you the shots. How do you feel? Okay. So you need two people, right, to show us. So can only start off for us.
Yes,
Yeah, so show me what. How careful. What you want the camera. So this is what is of who. Okay, can you like take a picture of the both chats? Just press that shot. Maybe not time. Yeah.
I think is it a video?
I know. Is it recording? So just frame out and show me. Okay. Then everybody look at it round, you give your opinion, and then we'll just run around. Have you recorded it?
This one is.
Okay, you mean video? I should do video.
Yeah. Just tap it.
Yeah, I've done that.
Cut. Okay. Not bad. I think he knows what he's trying to do. It's just the composition that is the problem. Abi?
Yes.
Abi?
You don't see and you say yes.
Check
I
out.
see I'm not seeing your position.
Let me play the game.
Over the shoulders.
So he's trying to show us and what the shoulder shows. Does he know what he's doing? Or just like it? He has an idea. He has an idea. Yeah, that's an idea. Yeah. You don't to do it how you do it. That shows.
So we are part of the plan.
Yeah, that's it. Okay, that's part of the plan. Sorry, I don't know. Hi, my name is Scott. Where are you? What else do you do in the code department? Hey, what is wrong with you? You go, boss.
Shalad.
Yeah, what else do you do in the department, boss?
I'm a cinematographer.
Oh, that is shit. Alright, guys. Okay, let's go. So come and show us how you feel on OS. Two people. Let's go. Somebody else is going to chat stand up. Or let's have two people stand up so that I can watch from a Zoom. Sorry, Alpha, who wants the camera?
Sorry, can you mean?
Thank you very much.
Sure.
Nobody should have anybody on the board.
One cosmet more than
Everybody
point this. Set
Is it direct or not?
He said GP2 now, so you guys know your shot. Take one to direct.
But your session is number 2.
Maybe all the last season I was there, then I start another one.
Look at it.
So how far now?
Just have to perfect. Just show me your own.
Ilé máa le díẹ̀ o.
You can go back.
Okay, so
Wow.
so let's look at this now. Okay, cool. That is please. No. So okay. You just said negative space. So this guy is the only way ahead of the class. So you're using what like negative space. Explain negative space. Please.
Yes.
Talk now.
The thing is just like space that we don't need. Our character is here, so like this extra space here is like we don't need this. Like just
Alright. So thank you guys. Alright, makes sense. So okay, let us
Yes,
mention- I can leave it here.
Lucas, put it.
Who's that? What's that voice?
It's Franca.
Man. Okay. So sorry. I don't know how to do this. Alright, thank you.
Yeah.
So now there are some rules that guide like these shots that we have mentioned. So since we're going to show, let me just mention it. Extreme wide, however you want to call it. Right, so these shots are basically used to establish like so you see all these stuff that they show in all the scene before the start that they show like the area pre-Lagos. All those things are extreme long shots. They can fall under that category of extreme long shot because see what that shot does is to just establish the scenery, like the location where the action is happening, to bring like the audience into like the space of the character that they're about to show you, right? And then so so you already have an idea of how they compose long shots. Extreme wide shot of like of the location. You might not necessarily see like the character. There are some that you see the character. There are some shots that they use where you just see like a very large forest and the character is just running like in the middle. For all these action sequences, if you guys watch action film a lot. So all those shots are extreme long shots, yeah. So now let's fast track it down to wide shots, which is, among the 3 widely used shots that we have, So the wide shots are anybody? Yeah, and then you have like a little bit of space of where they are in. Yeah, wide shot. Everybody knows wide shots. Great. So medium shots. Okay. So that's it. Yeah. So close-up shots. All right, calm. So everybody knows what close-up shots are and why we use them in films. So why do we use close-up shots like in films? Why would the director say, "Oh man, this is my DP. I need to give me a close-up shot of this character"? Why do you think they ask? So we all understand why they use it. Okay, makes sense. All right. So now. I mean, I feel like cinematography is not hard. It's just understanding of the basic rules, and watch a lot of films and read books, So if you have all these rules, if you write them down, if you memorize the rules, you will be shooting dope ass films. All you just need to do is follow your director's instruction. I'm telling you the truth, it's the hidden truth. So now, this shot here this shot that we've mentioned, right, are what the director and DP put together to like make a film that we all watch. But now for film, there are rules that guide these shots when you're like composing, like putting them in like compositions that help drive the story. Sometimes when you put all the shots together in the wrong arrangements, it might ruin the film. So there are rules that guide films and like the shots. So we're just going to run through. I feel like people might even know the rules. I've just told you about the line, the 180 line. You know about the line? Some of you know it. Okay. So you see that shot that like this, that it just framed two people standing here. In some cases, that shot might be wrong. Like it might be from the wrong angle, and it's just wrong. It's a nice shot, but that shot is just wrong because where the angle of the wide has been from, where they have established as a line, it has probably moved away from that line. That shot is wrong. In some films, some directors might tell you to do it because they're trying to portray a kind of style. Directors, they tend to think like that. But we cinematographers need to know the line. So your job is to tell the director, director, this line, we have crossed this line, we've passed this junction. So he cannot tell you that, it's fine. I want it like that because this is what I'm trying to do. But it's your job to tell him because most of them don't know, realistically. As in, sorry, they might be seeing this. Directors are bad as well. Some of them don't know those rules. That's why it's your job to know it so you can correct them. Can I borrow your pen? Because I didn't plan to talk about the rule here. So we're going to draw a circle. How many? What are the mathematicians in this house? What was the degree for circle? 360. So 360 divided by 2 is what? Oh, blast! Hallelujah. So yeah. Now, so this is it here. So this is a circle here, and then this is a line. So the line can also be like this. But so if you stand in a place as a DP, what you need to do is like look around, like map like your circle, right? So the director places characters wherever he wants to place them. Place one here, tell you one person will walk in here, Your job, observe your circle. Okay, so this action that this guy has already mapped out for me. Where do I take the white from? So once you know where your white is coming from, so let's say you take your white from this point. So if you take a white from this point of the circle, that means, so the rule is that once you take a white from this point, you cannot come and shoot anything from this point anymore. Because you have already stated that this is where your circle is starting from. So anything from here to this point and this point is fine. So if those characters are standing one here. Sorry guys. So if they're like here, where's the camera? Which one? This one. Is what is transmitting here. These guys are chilling. Well, okay, so this is hard. Alright, go.
Except you still here, you don't like don't need to be announcement around you.
Okay. Man, sorry man. I don't know how to teach like that. This is first time, so yeah. Where are we at? Okay. So we are here, these are wide. So let me name it the W, right? So if you are here and your character and you still have some people like standing outside this place, it's fine, but all you need to just do is that your shot has to be from like how I stand up, sorry for a minute, come. So look, this is you right here. So let's just stand outside. So this is you. So let's say this is this guy, this is him here. This our brother here is the one right here. Oh, who's blocking it? Where's the paper? Hey, the paper don't lose. Which camera are we using now? This one. So this is our paper, right? So this is our guy. Can you show them? This is hard. So this is our guy right here. If you want to take his shot, that same OS, you cannot go to this side of his body to take the OS. I don't know if you understand what I'm saying. Like you have to keep him on this edge, like on the side of the camera. Like you have to ask questions. So that's the thing. Like this is not a realistic arrangement here. But if you place your character after you've taken the shot, wherever he's facing, you cannot go to. If you shoot from his left, you cannot cross his right to take his OS. That's just it. All those drawing, that's what it means. If you take your character's point of view from a particular side of his body, you can't necessarily cross to the other side of the body to shoot because
the logic is that person is the circle. So he's standing on that circle, and then you're already on this side of the circle. You can't cross to this side of the circle to take the shot. If you take it, maybe the director asks for it, but realistically, in the rule of cinematography, it's wrong. So that's about, the 180 rule of crossing and not crossing. Do you guys understand it? No, if you don't understand this, you don't understand. See, because if you know these rules, all these hidden rules, it will just give you like, who wants this? Who did that take this from? Yeah, you just stand out. You look like you really know like a lot. I just know like, small vibe. So this rule. Yes. So that's what I'm saying. It depends on the director. Like the director has that power to like decide if he wants to go there. Naturally, you shouldn't want to go there. As in, you shouldn't go there. But rules are meant to be broken. But if like cinematographers are watching the film, and they see that shot, and they don't see something else that's connecting it that director is trying to do, they might just think you don't know what you're doing. But directors have they think out of the box. You can also, the thing is, this rule. Your job is to guide these directors. That's why they have director of photography. That's why they have us to come on set to help them, because they just know how to tell actors to jump, do this. So your job is to still tell them that, all these actions will have to be in this arrangement, so that I can shoot it like this for you. I don't know do you guys understand it? Please now talk if you understand. Do you understand it? Do you understand that rule? Yeah. How do you do it practically? So, have you guys done acting class, drama? Which scripts I don't act? Have you guys acted anything on this set? I'm just asking. Have they given you any script to read before on this set? People have a script that we can use right now. Oh, yeah, now let's use it now. Who are the actors? Who are the people that acted it? Let's just ask so that we can at least, if we know that one thing, I feel like you will just know that I have that unlocked. I mean, the reason why I'm asking is maybe that would be faster and easier. At least you guys already know it. So now if I say I should show it now, okay, so yeah, so yeah, show us something. Yeah, I mean I don't know. Yeah, so actor one, actor, just two actors that I have.
What we did yesterday.
Just do something there.
Okay, if they're just gisting like this, guys. So let's say they're just gisting like this. They're just gisting like this, yeah. If you want to take your wide shot, where will you take it from? I'm asking anybody, everybody. Where will you take it? If they're talking like this, they're like this, talking like this. Where will you take a wide shot from?
Sorry, we did this time.
No, you can decide to move back. You can decide to tell them to move more to the wall. You can decide to tell them to, but like this, how will you take your shot? Where will you take your wide from?
I will take over there.
You take from there.
From there.
For you.
I'll play
I take you from there.
There in his sitting room. Probably he's the owner of the house. I'm coming in as a visitor. So I met him here. We are here having a conversation. And I'll probably use a 24 mm lens.
So I understand you lens. We'll go to that. You take your white shot from there. Thank you. You hold on like that. Next person.
Okay, so for me,
yeah.
it depends on the sole person talking.
Two of them are talking. Two of them have lines. This one talk. This one reply. Oh yeah. Where you take your white shot from?
So I'll take my white shot from where you are.
From where I am.
Yes.
You and this guy from where I am. Okay. You where you take your white shot from? Not necessarily. Okay. Maybe they are on a field. They are on a football field. You'll be right here. Oh yeah. Next. Who else?
I'll move them back and take it from where you are.
Two of you here. You right there. You where?
You want us to be here?
Go back and take the shot from
Okay, but your white shot will be from this line. You from this. Three of you, all of you from this line. Only you chose from that line. So the people that chose from this line, if you want to now say, okay, the director man says, okay, Lucas, give me, okay, whatever. What's your name again? Daniel, give me an OS of this conversation of him to him. Where will you take your OS from?
OS for this guy, from this place. OS for this guy.
So why you didn't on this line?
Because if I come to their back here, I'll cross the line.
So that's basically the line. You get what I'm saying? So even if this guy is turn, fight, turn, blah, 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 blah. Do you understand what I'm saying? So come back. So now, these guys now, they're standing in a circle. Naturally, the head is a circle, as they say. So we're all revolving. So they're standing in a circle, right? And you take your wife from here or from that side. It still means that you're taking your wife from this. So you can decide that, because I'm taking it from that side, I want my circumference to go like this. When you wide this from that side. So you need to, like, if you connect your shot towards that side, maybe you take another shot from like that side. Maybe you now decide, okay, since my wide is from here, it's not necessarily on any sides of their body because they're like right here. So you can decide to go here or you go here. But once you go here, you have to stay here. You cannot go here for one person and then come here for the second person. But because you are here, you can decide that, okay, me, in my own head, my own circle is like this. And it's not necessarily like this. But once you come here and then you take something else, you are staying here all through that scene. Does that make sense?
Yes, sir.
So, hallelujah. So, do you understand that line now? The 180-degree rule. You understand it now? Okay, So now, let's move on to... So that's nice. So everybody knows what that line is. You guys are already on your way to becoming blockbuster DOPs. So, quickly, yeah. So let's just try it. Let's just talk about lights. Okay, no. Let's talk about lens. Since this guy just went to lens, so let's talk about how lens choice work and how director and DP decides that, okay, now I want to throw on 85. Now I want to use 75. Now I want to go, So let's talk about how space and like lens works, right? So what do you guys know about lens so far? What do you guys understand about lens? So I know where I'm starting from. As in, I don't know, like, what do people know about lens? Like, what do you understand about lens? Like, if they ask you what's lens, what will you say? What's the first that you see?
Lens is the eyes of the camera. What the camera sees, without the lens, there's nothing to capture. Just like we are eyes for. Lens is very limited.
Okay.
In terms of how wide, how close you can see.
Okay.
The smaller the number, the wider.
Okay. Do you guys know that before? Or no, only just know. Like, do you know it? Do you know what he's saying? Do you understand what he's saying? Do you understand what this guy is saying? Do you understand what he's saying? You're hearing it for the first time. Okay, so lens are these guys, and what they do is they allow light into the camera. They're more like what he said, to the eyes of the camera. But basically, their job is necessary to, like, carry light onto the sensor in their own dynamic ways. That's why we have like different kind of lenses. So there are some lenses that know how to like work with light conditions. There are some that are very good with like low light conditions. Also same with cameras. So there are some cameras that go with high light conditions. There are some cameras that their sensor are not that amazing, right? But basically, the job of a lens is to carry light and interpret it for the camera. That's how I explain it. That's how I choose my lenses. I just try to understand what I'm trying to shoot and what lens will work. So now, lens vary in millimeter, as he has said. So the bigger the number, so the smaller the number, the wider the lens. So let's run it like this. 16 and 14s are lenses that we use in cases to like get extremely wide shots, realistically. There are some DPs that are not and use them to get like other things, but when they're trying to like do some unnecessary, like some effect that they're trying to create in like the look, because if you bring like a 14mm, there's some 14s and 16s that like have like curved edges, right? So as much as we use them to do you have 14 and 16 here? This is a Mika lens box. Is it Mika that's inside? Wow. So I just finished using this lens of Vicent, right? And I must say it's amazing. as much as most people might not like it because it doesn't open more than 2.1, 2.2. So we have, so let me give you guys a story before I go into this. When I started, as a cinematographer, well, I started as a camera assistant. I used to carry bag I used to help her carry bag. Like Miriam, she was one that actually like showed me how to take her battery and put battery back in the camera. That was how I started, Sha. I just said I should let people know the kind of person that is seated right there, So yeah, moving on. So, do you guys understand like a lens? I've just showed you guys this before. So what's this ring for? The last one. This one. What's your own? What do you call? So what's your definition of this ring? Which ring do you know in this among the two? There are two rings here. There are some that have 3 rings, but this one has 2 rings. So what are these 2 rings used for? Okay, so because this one has 2 rings, you are not wrong, but you're also not right. Which you are wrong in this case, but in some case you might be right. The case of lenses that have 3 rings, but in this case, this lens has just 2 rings, so it doesn't have zoom because it just has 2 rings. It's a prime lens. There are some lenses cinematography is broad, shallow. So before I can talk about this now, I need to talk about like type of lenses. So this is a prime lens. So why is it a prime lens? Why is it a prime lens? Stephanie, that's all. If you go to film school in USA, it's the same thing that they will tell you. It's prime because it just has one focal length. It doesn't go beyond this point, right? So this is called what? Why is it called a zoom lens? So bro, this one now has 2 rings. Yeah, you can come. So what I'm showing you, because I told you in some case that zoom lens have 3 rings, but in this case this one has just 2. Do you know why it has just 2? Even though it's just, so the first one is to zoom and then the second one is to focus. But this one has 2 also, and it's not zoom. And this one is prime and this one is zoom. So the reason why this has just 2 and is zoom is because you cannot control, it doesn't give you this function. You cannot control the aperture iris from this lens. You have to do it manually from the camera. Does that make sense? But most of the zoom lenses that we see now have 3 rings, because most of them are like advanced and then they give you this function. Some give you this function. All those Cine zoom lenses give you this function. So you can control your aperture here, you can focus, and then you can zoom. Right? So you get it now. And then the aperture are the one that I always label like, 2 points, they're always 2 points, 4. They always have like pointing with them. And then this is just basically to control like the focus. Yeah. Okay, so where were we before we got this lens point? You can remind me. Okay, so now this is 24 mm, yeah? Would the adapter work with this guy? Is there an adapter for it?
No, it's for this.
Alright, calm, no problem. So now this is 24 mm, yeah? If I throw on this 24 on this camera from this same position, what it will show you is very from what the 75 will show you. And then, so considering the space, there are some locations that you would go to because you literally have like a lot of space. If you throw in 50 that is used for close-up, and then you move to some particular places, it can work for you as a wide. Does that make sense? Even though realistically they'll tell you, 50 are meant for close-ups only. But if you go to some locations in some environments, your 50 might work for something more than just a close-up. So space. So how space and lens work. So you need to really understand that. And how do I explain this now? So if you want to take close-ups, what lens would you ideally use? Ideally, like there are some range, there are some numbers that ideally, if they say close up, those are the lenses that you will run to. 50 sometimes don't necessarily even work for close up no more. Yeah, they're like 75. I think Maker has 75. There's 85. Yeah, so he has 75 too. 75 would literally be tighter than 50. The way 85 is tighter than 75, the way 50 is wider than 75 and tighter than 24. Does that make sense? All right. So as a DP, yeah, you need to understand lenses and know how they work with like your space. So if you get to a location, look around, understand your space. Oh, this space is too tight for me. If I'm going to take my wide shot with my 24 now, before I can see the beauty of this house, I need to go there, or maybe 24 will not even necessarily work. I might have to use like 16, use 14. So there are apps now that people do that have like viewfinders that you can, before you necessarily move your camera, so that you don't look. There are some people that check all those things. You can just go to some corners, take with your phone, look, and then know what lens you are calling. Because you might say 14, they bring 14 to you, and then use it and say that 14 is too much. Or you just start asking them, okay, give me 24, or no, give me 35. Sometimes it just looks like, but sometimes it doesn't really matter, because you're just trying to look for the best. But there are some people that might just look and say, you don't know what it's doing. So you need to understand, what lenses are used for and how to use them. Does that make sense? Do people understand? Are you sure? Okay, so let's move on to light and lenses. Let's just talk about it like that here. So I think I have to bring out this lens now. Let me just bring that back. It would be nice for us to try it on the camera though, so that you guys can really understand. But yeah, so just keep moving. So now lens and light. How do they work? I mean, we all know that the job of lens is to communicate light to the sensor. So how does this guy now work with that light? Okay. So for prime lenses here, the makers have given us, this ring. I don't know how they thought about it, but it really is amazing. It helps life. So what this ring does is, it helps you, control the amount of light that this lens is like receiving at each time. So you might go outside now and then you put this lens and then you just turn on the camera, everything is just white. Because the lens is just enjoying itself. You just put it on the camera and you just turn on the camera, put it outside, everybody is just white. The camera is just happy that I'm alive. So it's your job now to say, come down to this point. I want to see this much. I want it to be this dark. I want it to be this open. So now this lens stops at 2.1, which means this is the highest it can open up. So if you put it on 2.1 and take it outside, it might be very white, like blown out. So these numbers here, you can now decide to start reducing it to when you get to the temperature that's cool for you. So you can start reducing it and then you say, okay, I like as some it might still be white, but you're happy with it like that because that's what you want. So filmmaking and cinematography is basically what you want. Like people will tell you, why should you film like this? It's what you want. As long as you understand what you're doing and you're enjoying it, and people that are making it for, they are enjoying it, your job is done. Alright, so this ring helps you control the amount of light that's entering your lens, So you can reduce it. So we have there are also some other external glasses that people have made over the years that are called variable ND filters. There are also glasses, which is literally what's inside this iron. It's just sections of glasses laid above, arranged properly. So there are NDs that people use now to also help this lens to absorb light. ND, variable ND filters, like N and D, natural diffusion filters. So yeah, I think that's the full meaning. Right, so NDs are also new tools that people use, to help their lens work better. But So let's say you don't have an ND, because everybody will start from somewhere. There are some budgets, some people will not give you budget to use ND. So, but if you need to deliver good pictures to them, give them like top quality. So how you can do that is if you understand what all these rings are used for, and then you understand your ISO. You know ISO now. You know ISO. You know white balance. You know temperature, like Kelvin. I'm just asking now. Do you know white ISO? You know white balance. So yes. So if you know all that, you would know how to like navigate this lens and expose properly. So okay. This is boring, Abi. How you don't put this guy? What do you say? Say it now. Talk, guy. No, don't be shy. Say your mind. Like I understand. So I think we should talk about light. What do you guys know about light so far? I'm sure people have done like a light class. Right? All of you. So what do you know about light so far? So what are the 3-point lighting? You can tell me. Everybody knows that one. Yeah, no. So let's hear it. That. Key light, fill light, backlight, background light. So do you understand how that works with your camera? I've just showed you how that works. Or what's the difference if you decide to light with just, let's say you decide to light with just your key light. How will you look on your camera? How will it look like? Have you guys done it before?
The one-sided, like just bright on one side, just a bright light on one side.
Do you understand like what happens if you use just one light, one key light to? Okay, so I think I'll talk about this one. So because it looks like not everybody knows this one. So if you use just your key light to light, it creates an effect called flat lighting. So if I bring just this light now down and I put that diffuser thing on it and I just put it right in front of you, what does that create? No, like if I bring it down, like I put the dome and I face it like right in front of you like this, like right in front of you, what would happen? Yeah, so that's basically what's called flat lighting. There will be no shadows, no shapes, no separation, just flat. It won't be 3-dimensional. Yeah, exactly. So you understand what happens if you bring the light closer to your face and just light it. Everything becomes flat, right? But if you try to move the camera like slightly to the left or to the right, what happens? On the same line, not up, like still like this, and then just move it to this side. What happens? Okay, so that is with just one light here. Still on just one, using just one light. So you move it like here, like here. How intense is, no, you move the lights from here, from flat to here. What happens? You said what? Shadows will fall where?
It's not very dark here.
Mm-hmm.
The other side will be brighter.
Mm-hmm. Okay, and then if you move it like right here, what happens?
Half of the face is
So what happens with that effect? Like as a cinematographer, why would you do that?
That is like split lighting.
Yeah, so that is when it is like right here. That's when you get like this split lighting effect. But if it's still here, that's not it will not be split lighting. Yeah. Okay. So split lighting is when the light is directly on the opposite side of the face, and so the shadow that it creates in between the face is called split lighting. So why would you like as a DP? Why would you if the light is directly on the opposite side of the face, directly on the opposite side of the face. Exactly what that guy said. All right, so yeah, so what would motivate a DP to do that? Like, why would you want to do that? Like, so your characters are talking now, yeah, and then the director asks you to like light the scene. Why would do you think you would light it like that? Would you do that?
I said it was a creative choice. If the character is very shady, or the reason why the director wants the character to don't see one part of the character to accept it is better, but on normal circumstances.
Yeah. In what scenarios are they particular about the shot, like that kind of lighting? What scenarios do they really come? So do you have like a particular scenario that people like DPs actually use them? So do you guys watch action film a lot? You guys watch action film a lot. If you watch action film a lot, you probably see like the bad guy. You know, the director will just decide to like light improper. It's just to add more dramatic feel to like the person's character, to show like the badness, or maybe the person's like getting ready to do like something dangerous, or to go and commit like an offense, or go and kill someone. And then the actor just trying to show like more like to show that this person is actually really dangerous. Yeah. That's when most people use that like speed lighting effect, because ideally, naturally, that you shouldn't do. Naturally, you wouldn't like that for like dramas and all those other films, because you want them to really see your character, you want them to understand what's happening in their face, But for that particular like action, going to like fight, going to do something dangerous scenario, DPs tend to like do that, to just show. To just really emphasize on that, right? So now, when the light is right here, not here, right here, which is practically what everybody do now. Yeah, I think that's practically how most DP lights now, all this drama, all this thing that you watch now, is probably how they do it. So now, what happens if you introduce your backlight or your background light? What happens to the character? Here, directly like this, the face is flat because there will be no shadow. Everything just. If you move it here, what like directly to the side, what it creates is a triangle here, because this shadow falls. You guys are you guys amazing stuff, and then move it right here, away from this place. Move it here. What it does is the shadow connects a little bit depending on how far you move it, and then you have just small opening here to create like a very dramatic three-dimensional image, which is what the butterfly is. When you put the lights here and then it creates the shadow over. Most people do it, but if you're going to do that kind of effect, you probably need to. So if you do this, put the lights from up and then the shadow falls here, where do you necessarily put your fill light? You have like two different lights that you can see through around. How will you put your fill light if you are lighting like that for a scene? So let's say they give you a job now, you want to light, and then for some reason your gaffer put your lights on up, and they're looking at this thing, I don't like this thing, boy, this guy. And you just want to fix that, you want to still get like a nice image. Where will you put your fill light and your backlight? I mean, your backlight will necessarily be behind him, we all know, let's leave that. Where will you put your fill light?
Down or really bouncing.
So, if you use a bounce board and put the bounce board here, what the bounce board does is necessarily return light, and then it clears this place, and then what you now get is a somewhat washed off image if you look at it, because both light coming from opposite direction mixing at the middle coming to your face will still necessarily give you flat lighting, right? I mean, if you really think about it. So probably not do that, but you can do it. Like, there's nothing wrong with doing it. You might probably decide to move it like somewhere here, or here, so that it can still help you take out this, but there's still like small shadow here, so you still have somewhat dramatic lighting to your image. It's not going to be outrightly flat like if you put it like under and then just eat in the middle and then just comes to the face. Does that make sense?
Yes, sir.
That makes sense.
No.
Yeah. Thanks.
If my light is position, let's assume I've placed my backlight, light, and then my light at that direction. What the cinematographer like? Let's say it's a light fan. Let's say one man.
Man gun shoot P. So ideally they always say it is interesting to shoot from the dark side because it creates more. So now it might not be four dimensional because you're shooting from the dark to side to light and then there's still like darkness around. So you naturally will be here. If the shadow is like here, you want to shoot from here so that it's, you know, is here. You can see more, like it's more dramatic that way. But there's nothing stopping you from still shooting it from this place. So it's not like it's a must. Too. No rule is a must. Yeah. So you would want to stay there. Yeah. I want to stay there. But sometimes you might want to stay here. Yeah. I don't like, I mean, like all those rules, you know, you can always break those rules as long as you know it. You know, so yeah, so we are moving on to what light now? Oh, ask that, thank God. This now so that we can talk.
If you're in a dark place, maybe some movies you're in a dark place and they want to show you, they want to show only you
Yeah.
trying to do something. And other people are with you, but they're relevant. So just to show your face, since this light is the light directly on the
Yeah.
what kind of light you don't want to just every other person
Around
let's
this.
use Nigeria, let's go and drop a box. Every other person following the
Yeah.
Valao might not really show, it's just him and that place I want to drop that thing. Then the other place is just
Dark. So is that necessarily like, are you asking if it's good or how to light like that? How to achieve that? So ideally, I mean, you can decide to shape your light in a way that it is heavy on this person and all these other people are just dark. But the audience need to really see those people too. Maybe some of those films they don't really have budget, you know, that why. Some of those films that you watch. But how do you actually light that if you want to light that in the actual sense, yeah? So what you do is you put your lights right like over the person and then you just shape it, like tell your light guy to help you wrap it around so it just falls on a particular location and it doesn't spill. Why most times it's just directors, dramatic, you know, intuitions tell them to do that. You know, maybe they want to like create like a certain look for this particular guy carrying this thing. They want the audience to really see the person properly. That's how the light guy is going to do it for you. Move the people like feet away, like 2 feet away or like 1 feet away from him, small. Give him like space. Tell your light guy to light him properly and then wrap it. Like wrap the lights from the light source so the light doesn't like spread around. So it just falls like right on that person. And then they can probably move with the light. Or if you have enough money, if it's probably rigged, you know, light is just rigged and the guy just walking underneath the light to where it's going to. But I mean, like, I feel like if you're a DP and you want to do that for your director, yeah, you can still do it and let the other people show, but it should just be more like the audience will see that this person in the middle is where their attention is. They don't have to be necessarily dark, because if you are dark, maybe are they ghosts? Like, I don't know if you understand what I'm saying. Like, if they are all just dark and then it's just the person moving, the people are hearing that, the audience are hearing that there are people moving with this guy, but they're not seeing the guy. They're not seeing them. That might be weird. Yeah, that might be weird. So as a DP, all you need to do is, you know, fill up those places. You might maybe light the background in a way that you can see people, you can see that people are actually moving through it. Like, you might not necessarily light the characters. So if it's in the night, so okay, so now that's practical lighting now. That's where practical lighting comes in. When you are using a practical source to actually light your subject. Does that make sense? So now you just introduce candle before there was no candle. So now let's say we now introduce candle into the picture now and everybody has candles. Or just the guy holding a candle. Just the guy holding a candle. or every other person has candles too? I'm asking you now. I don't write in the film.
Only, no, I'm not right.
I'm just saying.
The only one holding the candle.
So if the only one holding the candle,
Supposed to see what he wants to drop and then they'll go back.
okay. So if the only one holding the candle, realistically, look at the candle. Like how much?
Now, candle cannot work like break the lamp.
Okay, this you just dey change the light source. But let's go. So let's say now. So let's say it's a lantern here. That is our light source. That's what we are seeing in the film. That is the light source for this scene. There's no other street light anywhere. You know, from your white shot, because that's what the white shot does. The white shot establishes the scene. So the audience already knows that. Okay, maybe the white shot now. There's one white light coming from one person's house. The white has already shown it. There's another light coming from somebody's keke. I'm just saying. That's maybe this one's not your script now. Let's say there's a white light coming from somebody's car. From your white, you have already shown it. But there's somebody holding candle. Right? Let's not forget. Somebody's holding candle in the middle of a dark place. But in your white, there was a house somewhere close by that has like light on it. There was a shop that has one small light that was coming out from it. So now, from your white, because it's your white, you can't how do I put it now? Especially light the guy. All you need to do is just, throw like something to just illuminate where he's standing because of the light that is holding. But that's like the same temperature. So the light guy will have to match because lantern will potentially give you like tungsten feel, yeah. So the light guy will have to match that with the light, So once you've shown that, but now you have already shown like 4 different light sources, unknowingly to you, but the audience only sees one, which is the candle. That's what I'm saying. But in your white shot that you already showed them that there was one blue light in one household. So when you come close to the person, you can still decide that, I still want to have the small of that blue from that house to be touching this guy. Even though I'm just lighting him for just the candle's sake. And then the people standing beside would have that same feel touching them, so that you can just light them for the camera to see. Your job is to help the camera process light. If you just put them in the road like that in the night, the camera will not see anything and you'll be angry. If you push the camera too much, open the aperture too much, you start seeing grains. Do you understand what grains mean? Noise. Yeah, and that's not ideally for like your pictures or your film or your file. So what you want to do as a DP is to help that camera work so you can bring artificial light in. That's why we have light. But you need to understand your scene, like the location where you are, because you can't just bring any kind of light in, like a light that was not really introduced. Okay, so let's say that same scene now that we just spoke about now. The guy holding candle. In your wide, what we see is just the candle and everywhere is dark. But maybe all these people now they're tying like white clothes, so you can see like they're white. Yeah, but you have already added like light to just let the camera see. But everywhere is still dark, but they are saying they are white. If you are going to close up to go and do, something tight, all you need to do is just bring a light closer that has like the feel of the candle and help you, light where you want to light, right? But every person will still be dark. You cannot now come now and introduce one blue light when in the wide nobody saw any blue light from anywhere. Does that make sense? Does that make sense? Okay. So what else should we talk about? What else do you guys know? You guys know everything already. So do you know what checkerboard lighting is? Let me just ask. Do you know what checkerboard lighting is? You're surprised. Checkerboard lighting, who knows? I mean, we don't really use it like that. Nobody really uses it like that, So checkerboard now. There's always black, white. So that basically it. Checkerboard. Like chessboard. Where there's black and white. So, what does a checkerboard lighting mean? That's what I'm asking you guys. So that's when there's the side of the face is dark and the background is white, and then here is white and the background is dark, and then you can have that same four look in one setup. So now you see how this guy is seated now, right? Here is light, here is dark, but his background everywhere is just bright. Yeah. We can decide now to now shape it in a way that here will be dark, here will be bright, and here is dark, the background will be bright, but here is bright, the background will be dark.
Dark, light, dark.
Yeah. Yeah. So most DP use it to just show off. Yeah, you get. So you can just go on set now and say, yo, me, I don't want to light my background like that. Light guy, make this place dark. And they're looking at you like, what is this guy doing? And they see that like, oh, you don't, it's not a tool. It's just a light style. It's not something that you buy, bro.
What are the scenarios that I work for?
Scenarios that it works for.
And what time of the day?
So that's the thing, like, it doesn't necessarily work with no time of day. It can be at night, you can just do it at night, you can just do it in the morning. That's why I said it's just show off. You know, that's how I see it. It's not like you work for any particular mood.
There's only one character I work for.
You can have two characters and just light. So it's the same. It's the same light design. Like, you know, it's the same way you just light the person to shoot close up. But you decide that, okay, now the background, I want to change the dimension of the background. Do you understand what I'm saying? Like, it's not like anything's happening to the guy's face. The guy's face is the way it is. All you're doing is just designing the background. Does that make sense? So it doesn't necessarily take away anything from the guy's action and look to the camera as at that time. But when the camera sees it together, the camera sees something different than what and that DP that just let the whole back be white, you know. But you know, you have to be intentional about it. Something has to be like, something has to make you want to do it. You know, it's not something that you just do every time. Does that make sense? Exactly. It can be, or you can tell them that more is your own style. Nobody should ask you questions. That's how you want to do it. As the DP, that's yeah. So, how are we doing so far? It's making sense, Abby. You can achieve it, however. You can still use that same amount of light that you have. If you have three, you can still use the same three together. I would love to show you guys how to, but so I can explain. So this is how I can explain it here. No, don't worry. So let's say let's say you position this now to work as backlight. You know, so if you want to use that backlight, how will you use it? Will you just push it to the back and just do like that? But people are different. Like, people design their backlight differently. Me, how I tell my gaffer to put my backlight, something smaller, and then I bring it like right behind you. So you know there's something called background and backlight. There's background light and then there's backlight. We have two different versions of that back sequence, and people tend to like, you know, get it mixed up. There's backlight, there's background light. So what I do mostly, I tell them to put the light like right here with the C-stand, like right behind the guy, so I can use the same light to do the background and then the backlight. And then what I can now do now in the case of the checkup, you know, if the light is like directly on him like this, I can decide to bring this guy in like a flag or a black wrap, and then I wrap this whole section up, half of the backlight. In the wide, everything can be, you know what wide sees, the wide camera, what it sees is not as vividly like detailed as what the close-up sees. That's why people take close-ups. And that's why in your close-up you can try to move your light closer. Because for the wide, you can try to take your light farther as you want. You know, so just get your wide. So just establish that scenario. So just let them know that, okay, let's get on this chair. And then after like 5 seconds, you are done with your wide. The wide can fuck off. And then start using close-up and medium. Then you can now design like the scene. Then you can now bring in things to make that frame look interesting. Like, your job is to make this 4-plane image look as interesting as possible. That's the deepest job. You know, like once you turn on the camera, like the four corners, like that has to be fine. So even in your wide, you know, the background is looking like, oh, is there something at the back? They can't really tell. So when you get here, you now design it perfectly to be up to your taste. Check out, you do what you have to do to the background, darken this place, leave this place wide, you know, shoot your shots. It is fine, you know, it's fine, bro. I don't know if you understand what I'm saying. Like, if you're happy with the shot that you're framing, it's fine. You should take it to anywhere in the world. You can tell them, oh, this is why I did this. I wanted this like this, you know. So do you understand that whole checkerboard? Do you understand it? Do you understand it now? So wherever on the faces, so it's just crossing one on the face in the background. So if here is dark, the background needs to be bright. Of this side, if here is background needs to be bright. You understand? So it's just, you know, checkerboard. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, talk to me, my bro. Let's hear it.
What does a good day in the life of the cinematographer feel like? Like probably on set or probably in a movie or whatever. What does it feel like to have a good day and what does it feel like to have a bad day as a cinematographer?
Oh, more. That question is intense. A good day on set. So depending on the kind of set. A good day outside in Lagos, like on the street of Lagos. A good day is when the sun is not very hot. And the weather is like it's about to rain. I'm not joking. In fact, any DP would praise that kind of weather.
And for your personal productivity.
Yeah. As once you turn on the camera, like once you are outside, you see this 6 o'clock feel, but bring it to like 12 in the afternoon. Without the sun, everybody just calm. If you turn on the camera will be happy with what's in. You know, the climate condition is. But Lagos normally around like 12 to the sun is already very hot, so it's not, you know. So you always get like, yeah, and then you now have to be adding NDs, cut down, you lose formation in the sky, yeah, stressing. If you don't know what you're doing, if you go outside in Lagos and just go and shoot, you shoot rubbish. As I'm serious, you know, because you might overexpose, you might underexpose, because the sun will be hot. And if you don't have the necessary like glass to help, even if you cut down your ISO to 100, and then you use your lens to like reduce, you've already lost a lot of, you know, information that the lens would like have loved to project to the camera, because you're already telling the lens to, you know, sorry, calm down, and then the lens is already tired that, oh, this guy, you get. But if you put like glasses in front of the lens, ND filters, you know, so the lens is still like, the lens is still at its best numbers and it's still getting this amount of picture. The lens will be happy, and then the lens will just give you something fresh. Must have. I mean, I cannot say camera and lens, right? Because all those ones are on the film set. Without those guys, there's no film set. So, most must have, bro. You have to have your gaffer. I don't know. Like, you need the gaffer that understands. See, cinematography it's not on and turning off camera. Everybody can turn on and turn off a camera. Like a 2-year-old, if you show the 2-year-old how to, this is off, this is on. It's like your phone. You try to turn it off and turn it on. But what makes you different is light. Like if you know how to design your light, if you know how to like shape lights, you know when to move one light to another point. You know what light's supposed to do what. You know, lighting is so must have. You need to have a gaffer. I don't know if that counts, but you need to have a gaffer that knows like the job. That also understands what you're trying to do. You know, I mean, if you know the job, if they give you a work gaffer, you can tell the gaffer what to do. You know, if you are a good DP and they give you a very good gaffer, I mean, imagine what would happen. You get, you are a not so good DP, and then they give you a not so good gaffer. You guys will struggle. I mean, you guys will make it work eventually, but struggle. Not so good DP, amazing gaffer. Can still be good if you listen to the gaffer. I don't know if you get me. So as a DP, you need to have like a realistically now. I mean, my Oga, this guy. So that's what I'm saying. Like, that's if you listen to the gaffer, because DPs, some DPs will not listen to the gaffer because they're like, I'm your guy. Yeah, you know, why are you telling me to do it like this? But that guy might just have worked on bigger projects than you, and I've seen how, you know, a particular guy did it, and he's telling you that, bro, I see this thing for this guy when you do it. Let's try it. You know, and then you just try it and you put your camera there and you're like, oh, thank you, gaffer. You know, because that's also his job too, to like help his DP do what the director wants. You know, like you need to have like strong teams. So gaffer must have. Gaffer. What else? Must have. I mean, like right now in the space now that we live in now, the ecosystem has evolved to a point where it's a must have for gaffers to have, for direct DPs to have like their first ACs, focus pullers. In quote, I said the ecosystem now. Before, like 5-7 years back when me I started, we didn't really have like focus pullers. DPs used to pull their focus themselves. But right now, you know, it's a soft world we live in now. We have focus pullers, so every DP must have now. So it's now a must have. It didn't used to be a must have. So I mean, so that's relative. It might be a must have for you, might not be a must have for me. As a DP to have a focus puller on set. You know, because some days I still connect my manual focus and pull it myself. Because I just feel like I probably will do it better than this guy that I'm bringing for me. You know, so if you don't have a focus puller, then it's a must have to have like your own personal focus ring. I mean, or you can pull it with your hand anyways. You know, so must have. What's there to have again? I mean, there are numbers of stuff. You know, as a DP, you know, because I don't know who's watching this. Let me just be saying some fresh shit like light meter. I don't have a light meter, shall, but some DPs will say it's a must have. Yeah, it measures like intensity of light on your subject. So you bring it closer to your subject. You read, it tells you the intensity. You bring it closer to the light. You calculate it. You know the kind of lens that you need. Yeah, you know, I've worked with DPs that have it. I know DPs that have it. I have friends that have it. I don't have it. You know, because my space, I don't know. But I'm still going to get it. So I don't know if it's, you know. So is that like a must have too? But I mean, like, if you don't have it right now, that's not stopping you from creating magic. Yeah, but you know, Hollywood and all those places, all their DPs have like light meters. You know, so yeah. What else? As in, see, you have question. Must have for me personally is the gaffer. Like I always ask, who's my gaffer? Because I feel like if I have that on lock, every other thing will just be easy for me. You know, even they bring like a not so good focus puller, I can try to take it out and pull it myself, and it will not know that I'm not doing it myself. I do that a lot on set, and they are doing, they're happy. Oh, but realistically, I'm not doing it myself. Yeah, like you know, I will remove his control from his. You know, so it might not be a must-have in some cases, but in the filmmaking ecosystem or the filmmaking world, you know, it's people have everything on this set. It's an amazing class. Yeah. So yeah, must have not really, but gaffer. No matter what, even though it's a skit, even though it's a church program, me personally, I would ask if I can bring my gaffer, or if they have a gaffer that they are giving me that is good enough, and the man gaffer will have spoken before the day of the shoot. So must have, in anywhere in the world, a strong gaffer. As a DP, you would flourish. Lens, camera, all those are basic stuff that will get you, or the project will get you. So all that are not major as much as a gaffer is. your question.
So, first, I wanted to ask, in terms of following focus, like for the man of focus right now, they say they are doing the movements in the character, and she does focus, like, I don't know how to focus. So, how do you cope in terms of
Relax. Don't quote me places I did not say. So now you have created a scene.
I hope anyone's walking with
No. Yeah. So now you have created a scene and a scenario where people are actually running, and you have to like be with them, like run with them. Before we had focus puller, what we used to do before was set our exposure in a way that the focal length is plain. There's no dynamic frame, there's no depth of field. Like it is just locked on wide like focus range. So even if you are far away from it, as long as you are still in that range, it will still be focused. But that is not, should I use the word fresh? Because what that does is there's no depth of field in your image. Your image is just like every regular skid maker's image, it's just dead. There's no depth. Yes. There's no sharp spot, there's no blood spot, everything is just sharp. So now, because I am you are a top class DP, man, I'm trying to get depth in all my image. Yeah. The focus puller will pull it 5 times, you keep doing it again till they get it right. I don't know if you get me.
yes.
But ideally, if they are left you will have just done like that and then you should just move on. But that's not all that fresh because of standard and all that stuff. You are trying to be intentional with your shot. Oh, I want my shot to have like depth. I want my shot to be very focused. Yeah, and then if the focus guy makes it, you guys to do it again. Like keep doing until you get it right.
So how do you do it now? Like, for example, let's not even say the guy is even let's say he's just walking. Let's say he's walking towards you.
Yeah, how do you pull it yourself?
Like, and is it like do you calculate or like?
Yeah, like so. Exactly. So in Nigeria, yeah, what we do is we use our initiative. So most times, tell them to do like a rehearsal. So they will have rehearsed. So the actors will do like their action, yeah. And then while you're doing their camera rehearsal, what you are doing is you have your hand here. So you are already marking. That's how I used to do it. Okay, so this guy is moving from this place to this place. In the rehearsal, I'll just keep following. If I see that oh I'm missing it here, you go back. And then you start doing it like this. You start turning it like the other way. That would work. Like most times that's what you need. So you already know that okay, this is the pace of this person. All I need to do is just keep turning it like this. And that's what you do. You just keep turning and just keep you just keep calculating it in your head and then just keep doing it. But if you are fortunate to leave the shores of this country, there's some first aces that do it. I've worked with some first aces like focus pullers that I will actually measure it, mark it on like their ring and then they just pull it easily. So let's say you don't have a focus puller and then you have access to all these tapes, you're trying to actually do like, finesse them, but you don't have focus puller, but you're trying to give them like, bad guy finessing. Yeah, you can decide to tape like, measure like distance from your lens to the character, know where the range of this lens will get to, and then you just tell them, okay, they're fine there, can they stop there? You suggest that to the director, please let them stay there, because in your head you know that that's my own mark, and then you tell them, so that's your mark, and then the director already like rehearsed it. Okay, they look at them, okay, if I get here I should stop here. Yeah, tell them, yeah, you just know, okay, if I move this guy here, sometimes you can even get like pen, mark it on your camera. There's nothing stopping you from doing that. You can mark it. Okay, this guy gets here. This is stop. I'll be okay. You mark it again. Okay, so you can move again. You can do all that if there's time, but there's hardly time in Hollywood, sha. So you have to tell them, let's do rehearsal, and then you just use your head to do. Because if you tell it, you say some producers, police, I need to mark this thing, they might just fire you. And you think that you're wasting their money and their time, because the money is everything to producers in our country. So So really, you just need to. You are going to do a lot of on your own project, bro, before you can start finessing all these focus pullers. And it's just the idea, it's just the truth of life. Like, I don't know how that sounds to you guys, but like you need to know it so that when you are doing all this, I don't have focus puller, I don't have NDs, you know how to, still push like your aperture, push your eyes so to still get like nice image. No time to go out. So at least, okay, you understand that, okay, this weather now, I don't have NDs. These people are not giving me NDs to shoot. I don't shoot exterior scenes. You can't decide that you don't have to go out. You have a serious scene. You can't decide that, okay, I want to now go out. You are not telling them that, okay, let's go out around 12 as a DP. I mean, you should probably look for a way to tell them to maybe come out way earlier than that, where the sun is not all that hot. Like you need to know all these small things that you can just use or say that might just help you get like good pictures. I mean, there are some cases that they'll tell you that, well, sorry, it's just at 12 that we can go out. In that case, you know that, okay, you are left with you, God, and your lens and camera. Whatever you can do, however you can push it, you try and push it and get something, interesting for your director, And actually, director, do you like it? They say yes, the job is done, you have earned your money. Like, nobody should tell you anything again. They should pay your full money because the director likes it. And that, because that's your job. Actually, the director, do you like this shot? He says yes, clap for yourself. Buy yourself a drink. I'm serious, guys. Because directors that you frame for, you ask them, do you like it? They won't tell you anything. As in, you ask yourself, sit down, look through it, next day, do it different. Ask him again, do you like it? If he's telling you no, giving you pointers, listen. You yourself, go back to your room, check yourself. The next day, come out again, frame again, ask him again, sir, do you like it? One day, he'll tell you like it. That day that he tells you like it, clap for yourself. You have earned your money. Does that make sense? Any question?
Is it compulsory that the DOP must know how to like set up camera, to know how to read, know how to...
You know why you're asking this question?
What?
Because you are a director and a DP. I know that's why I asked this question. I used to ask this question to that year. It's the truth now. I used to ask that question that year to when I was in school. I'm not like, I understand where you're coming from, yeah. So now, when I was in film school too, yeah, I was struggling with deciding. Because a lot of people tell me, look, you pay attention too much, you be a director, you will be good. But me personally, I knew I wanted to be a DP. So I spoke to one of my lecturers, David Uro. Probably need to Google him, he's a top director, yeah. So and then he spoke to me about it. He also does DP and he directs. At the end of the day, right, one would have to win. You can be both, There are directors that are doing both. But even while they're doing both, they still have somebody that is probably doing the DPing for them while they focus on this guy. But the how I put it now, the framing style and light design might actually come from your head. So in that case, it's not a must that you must know how to operate the camera per se. But if you're going to add that title DP to your name, I mean, I feel like you should know how to do it.
In terms of like rigging, not like exposure triangle or
okay.
In terms of maybe rigging, setting up a gimbal, or setting up a Steadicam, or setting up this.
So, because you are the head of the department, so as a DP, what department are under like the DPs? The director of photography, the gaffer, the grip, yeah. Do you understand me? So, as much as, because you are the head of that department, you should know the basics. Like, you don't necessarily need to know how to like couple up the whole gimbal, the crane, but you understand that, guys, this thing should not be taking more than 30 minutes because it's just to add this. You might not be the one necessarily fixing this together, but because you are the head of that department, which that department is also under, you should know it. But I don't face gimbals. There are some cases where I am forced to do it. I don't like it. I'll be telling them I don't like what I'm doing. I don't like it, yeah. But in some cases where you're on a documentary outside of the country. They take you to like Kenya, and then they give you this gimbal to use. In a strange land where you cannot just pick up a phone and call one of your guys. Alpha, I did like show, let me set up this thing. I don't know if you get me, like, and then you are in the strange land. They've given you everything. They've given you all the equipment. Oh yeah, there's camera there now. There's lights. There's all the NDs, and then there's one gimbal just looking at you. And then directors on your neck that man, deep. I need like steady shots. I need smooth shot like this. And then the gimbal is just looking at you like this. And then you're looking at the gimbal back, like, how do you what do? You don't tell your director, I do not fix gimbal. I don't want to use the gimbal. Let me use my hand. Your hand will not be as smooth as that gimbal, my bro. Sorry, man. And the director will go back to the studio, trying to edit, will not be swearing for you that was that deep that they brought from. That DB from Nigeria doesn't know shit. Trust me, that's what he will say. That DB from Nigeria doesn't know anything, But it's not like you don't know anything. It's just because that gimbal at that point, you cannot fix it. If you had fixed that gimbal, your shot would have been the best, and it would just be crying in the studio. Oh, that guy from Nigeria is best. Those things might just make and break someone. Sometimes. So, it doesn't stop you from knowing it. Like, I'm telling you, this thing is real life experience. Me, I was struggling with the gimbal. I like basics. You know that, okay, this is supposed to go on this. It's supposed to be like this, So what I did, we top YouTube. And then, I fixed it and then I used it. Even though I was complaining that I don't like it. And I had not used like gimbal in like 3 years. But because I was in Nigeria, I had to use a gimbal. Because I couldn't get a steady cam operator. I didn't even know to call for steady cam operator self. So there are some scenarios that, that thing might just make and break your career. Like, it might just make you stand out from the rest of the, So it's not a must. But if you can learn it, just learn it and know it.
High-end cameras like this, cinematographer.
They are not a must-have. That's a question. No must make you get out. Okay.
You don't have area of place.
Yeah.
But it's having black magic.
Why you no go? Hey. So, ideally, before you go on stage, you should have checked your equipment like 24 hours prior to the day of shoot. Ideally, in the actual working sense. That's why they do gear check. That time, you low key. Nobody has to know. Sit down the camera, don't be pressing it. Nobody will ask you questions because you are the DP, so they assume you know what you are doing. You low key, you're just trying to finesse it. Maybe Google do your ear, bro. It's the truth. Maybe you have the airport in your ear. You're just hearing the instructions. Could go to this menu. Yeah, because it's your first time. Like if you've done like workshops where they're talking about it, it's different. Like I'm sure you guys have dissected red. You know red on button now. You know red ISO. So if you go on any center and they give you red, you will just laugh and go there because you used it multiple times. But as you have said, this is your first time meeting an Ari. You don't want to be that guy that will tell them, I've not used Ari before. They will just probably call somebody else. Because you know that it's not, you don't get where it touch. Now to on arm, light arm, shoot. You know that in your mind. You know that I'm capable of doing this. Right? So just sit down. No, don't rush it. Play with the camera, like hold it in your hand. It's the same on and off. It's the same ISO. It's the same white balance. It's the same thing, bro. What's the difference is just understanding the buttons, where you're supposed to press, how you're supposed to get there. That's all. And YouTube will show you that because you cannot now be asking somebody on set. You don't want, see, if you don't get checked like the day before, when you can probably go to like their office or go with your friend, and you guys can sit down there and you can be asking them in their office, they will talk to you about it, And then you already know. So on the second day on set, you are just there, pressing it like, you're using it for like ages. That's it. There's some days I've gone on set and then my first time, I just look at the camera, first timer, and then you just look at it. Once you look at it, even without even doing anything, just on it and look at the menu, look at the screen, you will see everything there. Everything will press, all the camera will display like that. Except it's hidden, you press display, you show everything. It's the same thing. Black magic, you press some buttons, display, all those metadata will leave. Ari, you press display, all those things will leave. You press display to come back. You look at it. Okay, this thing is on this one. Okay. Now your job is to now change it to your own taste. finish. You know what you want to shoot. Okay, you know I want to shoot 4K. So let me ask Google, or how do I get to where I've set to 4K? Okay, I've set that one. Okay, so what's next? Oh my, this ISO is on 800. Me I want to use 400. Or you use your ISO. Oh my Kelvin, this is a this. Let me put my ISO on 5. This in 5, whatever you like. You know, you put yours. You know, the same thing, the same RE setting, the same black package setting, the same on red. The same on what other camera is there? Panavision. The same on Sony. Same thing, bro.
Let's say that I now. You can't check go set them up.
So now, because of this our ecosystem where we live in now, Nigeria, Hollywood is evolving fast now. We have Camtechs. We have boys that come with camera that you can tell them, yeah, Honor, can I go 4K? They're going to do it for you. No, there's that now. But ideally, like you know, train, like how they train me. It was me that trained me that year, that showed me, like, bro, it was not like that too. Like, you know, like you need to actually know it. Like DPs will never let you touch the cameras then. Your job is just change battery and carry it in the bag and hold tripod and be following them. If you just set it for them, put the camera on the stand, put the battery. That's your job. Leave there. You will now go and stand. They will not come and press their pressing. They will not call you, come and look at it. So I'm pressing like this. But now, because we have production houses that are spending money to buy equipment and they're trying to keep their equipment safe, they know that most people don't really know how to use these things. So they train boys that are now calling themselves DPs now. You know, so they train all these boys, show them like how to own it, how to the basics. You know, once they know all that, they now come on set and then you now the lazy, like a sick DP that doesn't know anything again. I'm telling you, do like this. On it like this. You don't go 4K. And you don't even know it, but they tell you, okay, it's on 4K, sir. Okay, now I'm shooting. And then you might still get to post and see that, oh, this is not 4K. There have been a lot of errors like that, you know, because it's not you that actually like calibrated it yourself. You know, so there's nothing stopping you from actually knowing these things. YouTube, bro. If you type Alexa YouTube menu now, it will bring everything. You see like over 20 videos of people talking about it. How to get to this place, how to format, how to change your ISO. You know. I mean that's for like camera works, but your own master knowledge, you know that okay, me I know how to light. If they put me in this space now, I will light this thing for them, it will be fine. All those other camera works, you can learn that like on YouTube. You just know all that are like, you know, even lighting too, you can learn lighting on YouTube too. Everything is on YouTube. You know, but classes like this are like interesting so that you can, you know how the actual Nollywood lighting and how to actually make it work. Because YouTube now will just be showing you their own things there, and then sometimes you try and bring it here. Sometimes it might not work because it's not the same weather, it's not the same, you know, factors like that. Any more questions? Ask now. Answer your question.
Because I was on set as a camera person, but my VP did not allow me to touch the camera because he said that the concept is in case if anything happens or the card, I shouldn't help me change the card.
Yeah.
So that if the card get formatted, they should not come and call you.
Yeah, so you see that.
To hold the concept.
So you see that it's specific about that card. Card. If it's not your job to touch card, don't please. I beg you, people, in the name of God, don't touch card, though. If it's not your don't help them. I'm sorry, it's a filmmaking is teamwork, but if not your department to touch card, to load card, to format, don't help them. Even they say you help them, don't. Because I'm speaking from personal experience. Don't help them touch card, except it is your sole job on that project. You know, there are people that are called data wranglers. That's their job. You know, they'll tell you, they'll give it to you. Alpha, take, format. You know, like if that's not your says, you know, you see card, you're trying to set up in the morning. Oh, you're not DIT. You're not like those boys now. You're not one of them. Yes. Don't put card and format because they can arrest you. They can tell you that their file is missing. You have to pay for the whole day. You know, like I'm just saying it to avoid unnecessary drama on set. You know your job description. Like, what's your job on that set? you're the camera assistant here, and your DP has categorically tell you not to touch cards, don't touch cards. That's what your DP told you to do. Don't do it. Don't worry. Leave him alone. It's not the same. It's just being, careful. But I mean, we will not tell you not to help him set ISO and not to that sensor.
So settings, anything, settings. Even the thing itself doesn't listen. Once it comes, check his camera, look at it. Then the director of investigation will come and tell you what it's and will tell you this is what it's saying.
Yeah, so that's it now. That means it's like an first AC. There's a focus puller on set, have you? Yeah. So he has a first AC. Do you know what a first AC is? First assistant. What's that job? Can you tell me? I wish I was to put focus. Hey, Nigeria don't make happy to full focus.
Focus pulling is part of their job.
Okay.
But they're also in charge of taking care of the camera settings and every other to make sure that you take data of the card that is there. Then also slate also, I think.
So now this guy has read a lot. If you've read a lot, that's how they were explain it. Did you read very well?
I see I go on set.
That's the guys already.
Yes.
Oh, okay. Alright. Oh, yesterday.
No, before
Who spoke on it? Aaron Young. Aaron Young don't talk for you. I mean, I can't talk for you. Do you even know where Aaron Young is? He introduced himself to you guys, have you? He was not even in. Aaron Young is big. So first AC is like, as much as now we now have clapper board loaders, which their job is come and load the board. But that job also still falls under the job description of the first AC. In some cases, first ACs will slate. But in our space, first ACs just pull focus and set the data for the DP. So in that case, that's why he would not let you touch it, because that's not your job description on that set. There's somebody else that's his job to do that. So on that kind of scenario, don't do it. You get me? So yeah.
Why I wanted to ask the question, because of a setting you say ISO code.
Yeah.
A setup they don't allow apart from the first AD.
The first AC. So that's because your DP has a first AC in his disposal. So he's just enjoying the privilege that comes with it. If that guy was not on set, he would do it himself. But because there's somebody that are paying some amount of thousands of naira, he can just do it now since it's his job, and man, you just be chilling, focusing on something else. But in a scenario where it's not a high-end project, where you don't have a first AC, you do it yourself. So any question? Yeah.
For a starter, minimum, like something that will give you quality, or still like maybe the smallest camera.
That question, I don't know how to answer it for. So the smallest that will give, so small in terms of shape or like price.
Not shape, output, like the graphics itself at the end of the day.
But
Without collaborating, like what you see, like quality in terms of quality. Not
Just
like
like you are talking about getting iPhone 14 Pro Max and getting Samsung S8 Plus.
you don't understand.
That's the two different phones, and the price alone can tell you that iPhone 14 Pro Max quality is different.
okay, let me
So-
like
so-
the other camera when you understand what you know this kind of thing.
So you know why I didn't touch that camera? I've not directly held like a DSLR in a while.
But that one is better.
Yeah, but that DSLR is still
It's still
ahead of this DSLR. I don't understand what I'm saying. So if you're asking me a DP, what camera is small, that will give me the highest quality, that will give me good output. So like I'll ask you, small in like size or in like price, because there are small cameras that are small, but they are not cheap. But they're like compact, but they are expensive, and they give you like relatively mad qualities. You know, and then they're like Blackmagic series that are like not so small, you know, not so expensive, give you mad quality. You know, they're like Sony FX, they're sort of Sony FXs, and then they are like small, not so cheap to rent, give you quality. You know, so it varies. You know, it just depends on what you want. Blackmagic small, cheap to rent, gives you quality. Yeah, you know, so I don't have a direct answer to that question because any camera goes, bro. I mean, like as a DP, you need to be able to. Any camera goes, you need to be able to use every. As much as you might have your favorite, people have favorite. Like you might decide that, oh man, me, I'll be Ari boy, because Ari is just the best. I love Ari. You can decide that, oh me, I'm Blackmagic boy. I love Blackmagic too much. But that doesn't mean they give you Ari tomorrow, you're not able to shoot with it or use it. You just know that you are a badass. They give you Blackmagic. You're a badass if you use an Ari. But you can be an all-round badass. You can, you know, they can give you Ari and they are still shaking legs. You know.
I think you can like throw more light on like using focus.
That focus pulling kit. So that one, it's something for a first AC. The one I'm talking about that DP uses that I have, it's the one that you can clamp on yourself and then you just roll. It's like all those old generation. I have a picture of it on my phone. All those old generation focus pulling ring. What's the time? Yeah. Sorry, let me turn on. Do you have any like that? Yeah. I'm trying to check my phone to see if I can get a picture of my own, but I might not really see it. Come on. I need to look for it. So that you just see that one. It is really like all these olden days. This thing focus pulling device, bro. It's not old if you use it properly. I'm trying to look for this guy. Okay, so I don't know if you see this. So do you see this guy?
Okay, over here.
You know this guy,